All right, how's it going? I am so excited to be back. Last week we were supposed to do this one, and I ended up getting COVID. I thought that I didn't have it. I did one of those rapid retests at my work, but and it didn't have it. I tested negative. But then Saturday morning rolled around, my tonsils were swollen. I could barely swallow. It hurt to even swallow my own saliva, which is kind of I know TMI, but it hurt to do that. And so I decided I couldn't do it. COVID kind of kicked my trash, and I would not wish it on any of my enemies, or my worst enemy, really, on anyone. But we are back with another creator hangout. Now, I'm really excited about this one, and I'm excited that we do this now on Saturdays because I know that a lot more people have been tuning in. And I just want to say thank you to those who have been tuning into this because this is great. I love having you as an audience and being able to help you to be better content creators, give you tips and tricks, whether it be with photography or just with YouTube in general. So I'm really excited about today's creator hangout because this is something that I struggled with for the longest time, and it was all about thumbnails. Thumbnails are probably one of the most, if not the most, crucial part about being a content creator. Now, there are some people that would probably argue with me on that. That's just how it is. But really, thumbnails are so essential, and I've talked about this a little bit in the past. But when it comes to thumbnails, like it's kind of one of those things where it's like an art. Some of you may be saying like, "Well, Tony, I don't really know how to draw. I don't know how to paint. I don't know how to, make sculptures out of clay." Well, that's the great thing about thumbnails is that you don't have to be some big art enthusiast to improve your thumbnails that much more. Now, we're going to be talking about several different ways you can do this tonight, and we'll be sharing some websites with you guys that I use, that I can personally vouch for. One of them I am an affiliate for, and really, thumbnails are essential. I really am excited about this one because thumbnails are just that important to your success as a content creator. I remember, give you a quick story. When COVID hit, I applied for a new job. It was with this company called Space Station Integrations and Gaming. And so the position I applied for, they talk about thumbnails. And to tell you how much of a newbie or a greenie I was, I had to Google what are thumbnails. I had to legitimately go on a Google search and kind of research what thumbnails are. I was like, oh, okay, I understand what thumbnails are. And I can tell you right now, my thumbnails at first, got, they stopped bad. Like I was ashamed how bad they were. Like I didn't know what Canva was. I didn't know how essential Canva really was. And really, when it came down to it, like I love being able to talk about this and help you to be better content creators because this is something that I wish I would have known when I first started in the YouTube creation space. We got our first comment of the night. Got one of my mods, Nano. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. I've known Nano for quite some time now. He's very good with the mobile tech and, so much more. I've talked with him plenty of times on Clubhouse, which again, if you're not on Clubhouse, that's where a lot of us creators actually end up talking quite a bit throughout the week. I'm currently on a break from it, but I normally do chime in there quite a bit. I give tips, tricks, and other suggestions. But thank you, Nana, for stopping by. Appreciate you. But yeah, I didn't know what thumbnails were. I I was so bad with thumbnails. Like I would just take a screen grab of whatever the video was, and I would just use that as my thumbnail. I wouldn't put any words. I wouldn't do any editing, and it was just bad. It was really bad. And being a part of Video Rank Academy, they kind of stressed to us the importance of thumbnails, so much so that they always do this like weekly, like thumbnail picks. Like they want to see your thumbnail Thursdays. They call them thumbnail Thursdays. They want to see your thumbnails for either a previous video already uploaded or one that's upcoming. And they always tell people, be polite, do constructive criticism, don't be rude, and all that. But thumbnails are probably one of the most important parts of content creation And it's really, if you look at any of the bigger YouTubers, like we'll use the biggest one who actually just hit over 100 million subscribers this week. So Jimmy, congratulations, that's Mr. Beast. If you don't know who I'm talking about, but if you notice in his thumbnails for his main channel, he always has that look, kind of like the thumbnail I have in this, where it's just like you can see the whites of his eyes, and he has the YouTube face, like the excited, like, and so that kind of stuff attracts people. Now, granted, it is Mr. Beast. Everyone loves Mr. Beast. Even if you don't love him, you know who he is. But thumbnails are what help drive traffic to your videos, your channel, so on and so forth. And that's why we're going to be talking about, making better thumbnails tonight. And so, really, thumbnails, how I got started on thumbnails was I, being a member of Video Ranking Academy. Hey, we got one of my other mods. This is Aaron. He's actually been in here quite a bit before. And Aaron just launched his own YouTube channel a few weeks ago. So he's killing it already. He's doing a React channel. So definitely go check him out if you're interested, because he's really has quite a bit of knowledge about the niche that he's in. It's to do with, if I'm not mistaken, it's to do with metal, right, Aaron? But yeah, thank you for stopping by, man. I appreciate you. But thumbnails, oh man, what could I say about thumbnails? So Canva is probably one of the most important places I utilize for my thumbnails. They have a bajillion, that's not even a word. They have plenty of other resources on there, not just for thumbnails, for channel art, for logos, so on and so forth. But one of their main focuses that people use them for is the thumbnail. And there is the free version, which I was using the free version for the longest time. But as the saying goes, well, as some of us in Clubhouse always say, like, once you go pro, you don't go back. I went pro. Started paying for it, and I honestly could not go back to the freebies because I like having access to so many other different pictures, text, backgrounds, so many things. And so that's one of the great things about Canva is that, like, not only do you have the free resources, if I can get the words out of my mouth, but you also, if you do the paid version, you also have the chance to really just up your game that much more, because the pro version just gives you that much more. I'll use a Star Wars reference. I'm a nerd. Aaron knows this. This guy right here, he knows this. Me and him have been friends for quite some time. But you know the scene in Star Wars when Emperor Palpatine says unlimited power and he shocks Mace Windu with his lightning? That's kind of like how it is once you go pro on Canva. It almost feels like you get an extra sense of power. Now, just because you have that power, with great power comes great responsibility. It's another movie reference. I'm a movie nerd and a movie buff, but you have to use it wisely. There's so many different things, and I actually just taught a few coworkers yesterday on how to use the background remover, which we're going to be pulling up the website. I'm going to pull up the website here in a bit. But Canva is just one of those great resources. I didn't even know this place even existed for the longest time. I've brought this up in the past. Yeah, man, we all got you. So let me just sidetrack, do a side note real quick. So like I said, I've known Aaron for some time, and I somehow stumbled across his YouTube page a couple weeks ago, and I was like, so I stumbled across something. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, and I shared the link. He's like, oh, and it was almost like I had called him out. I was like, dude, you have a YouTube channel. And he just kind of laughed, like, yeah, an old coworker of mine kind of convinced me. And I like to say that I partially convinced you, Aaron, because you were in my last pre-recorded video, and I was trying to get people to say, like, should Aaron come back to YouTube? And well, look where he's at. Control is that's true. Control is necessary. So Canva, I want to share this website really quickly. Let's see here. I'll just share my screen real quick. Actually, no, I'll just share a Chrome tab. So this is Canva. Canva is probably one of the best resources as a content creator. Like, there's so many different things. You type in the word YouTube, and it just comes up with like, YouTube intro, thumbnail, outro, banner, channel logo. And you can even search for it. Now, this is a great resource. And what I'm going to do right now is kind of see, and these are some of the things, like, obviously, I do the thumbnails not just for me but for my mom. I help her out with that because I seem to have an eye for that. So let's just see here. We'll just click on this one. So this is one that I created a long time ago. Now you may be wondering, Tony, how do you do that white outlining on this? And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, we'll just, I can't talk. Sorry. Cut me some slack. I was off from this last week because of COVID, but I'm back and my brain is just kind of not there. It's not used to it. But let me see if I can find, okay, so this brings me to the next point of view. So this was the photo. Obviously, you want to make it as big as you can. Even if you don't really like you as the person in the photo. So you may say, like, well, that's kind of distracting, and you have that wrinkled sheet in the background. So if you sign up with the pro version, this is what you can do. Oh, that's not it. You go to edit image. You see this right here, background remover. You click on that and you'll see what happens here in a sec. Just gotta give it a bit. Has to think about it for a sec. And voila, the background's there. It's just me as a person now. And then if you want to take it a step further, like, let's say you want to, have that little white ambiance behind the little outer lining, kind of like I have right there. So what you do is, obviously, you want to clone this. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Trash that. Let's see here. Okay, so now I have two of me. That would be kind of scary in public, honestly. So then you come over here to edit image. You come over here to dual tone. And, I usually just pick cherry, but then you see these three little cursor things. You click on that. And so then it brings up the highlights. And so you'll want to put these as white. I always put them as white. And then you'll want to do the same thing with this. And so there you go. And then what you want to do, see here. There. So from this point, obviously, I got to make this guy a little bit bigger. Oh. Make him a little bit bigger. So you can see that, you can start to see that outer lining. And this is kind of something you have to play with, but really, I love Canva. I love being able to mess around with it. But really quickly, I want to go back to the chat. So Aaron said, at first it was a joke as why I returned. He's like, I was caught red-handed. Yeah, you were caught red-handed. I'm like a great detective, Aaron. You know this. So like, I find things out. And then, Tech Fury said, I love Canva. I have the pro version. Yeah, so you understand what I talked about with regards to the pro version. But going back to this, so right here, you can kind of see that you just kind of have to mess with it a bit to really just get it to where you want. Now, I'm not saying this is easy, and sometimes this is probably the part that takes me the longest if I want to do the little highlighting, which there's nothing wrong with that, but you want to make sure it looks the best you can. And so then from here, what I would do is I'd come over here to text, and I would just do this one. Come on. Obviously, you want to shrink it down to size. And this is cool because you can come over here to text color. So obviously for this, I would want to change the color. Like that just doesn't look good. So you would want to first change uh, the color. Like you want to do an eye popping color. So for me, I like to use the white because it's eye popping, and then you want to come to so from there, it looks pretty good. And you could say you go over here to effects, and you can go to here, bada bing, bada boom. So you have that little bit of a shadow, or you can even do the white, which right now the white I would not highly recommend. I would highly recommend not to do that if you had this kind of background because it just looks blurry and gross. But it looks pretty clear, and and then from here you could just kind of maneuver it around, and you could just say like gear. Totally changed my lettering. What the heck? Gear unboxing. And you could kind of mess around with it, but I do want to come back and talk with you about the mere fact that when it comes to text, I want to let me bring this up. When it comes to putting text on your thumbnails, I cannot stress this enough. Thumbnails, they're the most important part of it about it, but you don't want to overkill it with your text. I used to do that a ton. I would use so much text it would kind of make the whole thumbnail look busy. It would make it look just out of place. And so, for example, here, let me pull up another tab. Oh, I just realized that you guys didn't even see that. I apologize. I'm gonna stop sharing this one. Let me just start this over again. So I'm gonna add page, bada bing, bada boom. Let's see here, share screen, share Chrome tab. So let's just kind of start over. So let's say you have this. Actually, I don't even really like that color. That's kind of to me, that's a bad color. We'll just go with this one. Let's say you have this as a background. You're just like, okay, well now I want to put some photos in here. So from this point, you will have already uploaded some stuff. Like you can see that I've already uploaded quite a bit of stuff over the past little while now. So from here, here's this photo. It's the same photo, this photo right here. Now you're probably wondering, as I mentioned, how do I do that little highlighted white background? Like I want to get I just want to know how to do that. And so that took me a little bit, honestly, to figure out. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But first, you're probably thinking in your mind, like I said before, you see this different, you see this background, you're thinking, well, that just looks tacky, looks ugly. And I agree. Like it looks really tacky. You have the wrinkled sheet back here. From here, what you do, if you have the pro version, and this is why I say pro is better than free, because from here you go to edit, remove, edit image, and you come over here to BG remover. So that stands for background remover. You click on this, and then it just shows me. Hang on a sec, I got to get a drink. My throat's kind of dry, and I just spilled on myself. Fantastic. But yeah, so now from here, what I would do is if I wanted to have the background, if I want to do that little white highlighted background, I would remove the background again. Hang on a sec. Okay, so now I have two of me, which, in real life, I'm kind of glad I'm not a twin because that would kind of be a little scary. For those who know me, they know that this would be true. And so, you would click on cherry. You could click on any, but I always do cherry just because it's easy. And I would come up over here to the dual tone. You see these three little nav points. Click on that, and then you can see how that's red. So what I do is I come over here to make that go white. And you want to do the same thing with the shadows, white again. And from here, what you want to do is kind of brighten that, make that a little bit larger. Obviously, you want to send this. Let's see. see, you can kind of already see that just from looking at it, that you're going to start to be able to do this. Now, obviously, that's just a quick little rough design, but so let's say you got it to where you want it like this. And then you're like, well, I want to add some text. So what would do is you come over here to text. This is the one that I always use. I love using this text right here. And I would come. I apologize if you can hear my dog in the background. He's howling right now, being a silly little boy. So obviously, that text, that the color looks really bad. One that I like to use quite a bit is the white color. So it just kind of makes it pop a little bit. And from here, you can go to effects. Then you have various different ways you can do this. You can do like, that, which I don't like that. There's that, the neon. What I do is I usually go for the shadow. So it gives a little bit of a shadow. And then from here, I can add like black. And so see like that looks really good. And so since this was, for example, I was unboxing some gear here, I'll say, gear helps if I, a sec. Gear unboxing. And so from here, you could add like, you could come over here, you could go to, let's see here, photos, and you could just type in like unboxing. And it just has all different things. And again, you could go and you can remove all the backgrounds, but I just want to go back to the chat and make sure I'm not missing anything. I'm not. But yeah, that's really just like kind of like that's how I make them. There's now for every different YouTube video, I'm going to stop sharing this screen for now. So for every thumbnail, you can't just use the same thumbnail over and over again unless you repurpose it, change it around, change it up, and make it look good. Like you can't just. It in my honest opinion, it doesn't do well. I said it. It does not do well. I cannot emphasize that enough because I was using the same thumbnail for these creator hangouts, honestly, for the longest time, and I came to realize that my retention rate was going down, 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 and by using that same template and not really changing it up, I was kind of shooting myself in the foot. And I mean, I know it's one of those things like, it comes to kind of like a hit or a miss. But that's one thing that I would like to definitely stress is that like if you want to use like maybe the same design, change it up. Maybe change the colors of the lettering or change such and such. And that's just how I personally feel. And that's really just what I enjoy. But what questions do you guys have about thumbnails, if you have any? I would just love to answer them. But this is something that I struggled with. But while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up another example of when I first started with making thumbnails. Go to my projects. Okay, so now we're here to the to my projects that I started out with, and I can tell you right now, some of these are really bad. So I'm just giving you a forewarning about this right now because this is bad. This is not good. Like I was so rusty when it came down when I first started with making thumbnails. I was amazed. See your share screen, share Chrome tab, go to projects. So now you guys get to see my projects, things that obviously, I can get rid of that one because I never used that. Yes, move to trash. So this was one for a video that I had never even used. I never finished the video. And you can just kind of see the before and after. It was going to be really a great video, but it just wasn't working out. I didn't feel like I could do the whole video justice. Again, I had that self-doubt. I did not know what it meant to really become a good photographer at this point. Well, I can show you how to become a better photographer. So this was just an example of of a thumbnail that I started but I never finished. And so, kind of going back, let's see here. This was for my first live stream that I did, and obviously, you can. This is what I was talking about, like with so much word usage. Obviously, I didn't know what I was doing. Like you can see, this is kind of blurry. The words are really blurry. So if I was to go back and do this again, I'd go to effects. I would go to shadows, and then I would make sure that I'd probably put this to white. No, probably do that to black. And then I would do that same thing, go to shadows, and I would put this to black. And so it already looks that much better. But I'm sure you can guess two things that I'm looking about. Oh, and this is one of my friends, Lito. He was on my first live stream, my first ever live stream, I should say. But what's something about this that you notice that is just completely out of place? I'm sure that you guys can probably figure it out, but I just kind of wanted to get your input on it really quickly because I can tell you right now, I already know what it is. And it's really that I didn't use the background remover because I didn't have premium. I didn't have the premium. I didn't have the pro one. So from here, what I would do is I would remove the background on my image. I would remove the background on his image. And then I would do that little highlighting thing, like where I put a little highlight. I would at this point. See here, I'll just quickly do it for you, just so you know what I'm talking about. So again, you come over here, you go to dual tone. I would do cherry, and from this point, I would click on these three little notches, and I would just do like a. We could probably even try like let's try an orange. Let's just try an orange. We'll do it with both of them. I've never tried orange before, so see like that already would look a lot better. Obviously, I would need to, improve, make this a little bit bigger. So, and again, that's just a rough draft. I would definitely take a little bit more time with this. See, like that's perfect right there. And so you could definitely see the outline of it. And same with him. Like I would duplicate it, bring this over here, go to dual tone, go to cherry, and we'll do the same thing. Orange, orange. And so then you would want to, increase the image just a little bit. And you can kind of already see like, it would look pretty good. Now, again, this is just a rough draft. So if you're saying, Tony, that looks bad, please understand that this is just me being funny. So see like that, it would, oops, it looks pretty good now. So like, and obviously you want to make sure that like if you use one of the Canva backgrounds, so like let's say like if you're doing the photography thumbnail, come over here to photos, do photography. You would want to make sure because this one's too busy. Like yeah, I use Canon, but this one's too busy. So I would want to come down here and just find like, I mean, even that one's not as busy. I actually didn't even end up using this thumbnail. Lito actually ended up doing the thumbnail for me, which thank you to him. But yeah, but you just kind of get a good understanding of like, I would definitely take out this and just do live stream and then put this as your title instead of just putting it in the thumbnail, because that was a mistake that I made at the very beginning. Exactly. So going back to the chat, Nano says the more you do it, the better you will get. Exactly. So I'm gonna stop sharing that just for a little bit. Exactly that you bring up a good comment right there, Nana. Thumbnails take a while. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I didn't get to where I'm at with thumbnails for at least 6 months to a year. I'm gonna be honest with you on that because that's how much time and effort you got to put into this. Like if you're serious about YouTube, you need to up your thumbnail game every video. Just make it that much better. Just improve it that much more. And if you have a peer group, like I have a peer group that I reached out to. Nano's in that group, and we got Growth Angie here, who's also in that group. Thank you, Angie, for stopping by. If you want to come up and talk about thumbnails, I'd love to have you. But have people that do know about thumbnails that can send you some honest feedback. Say like, "Oh, I would change the color of this, or maybe not use that, or use this image instead." That's just something that you got to have those people that you can kind of report to and kind of get some feedback from. And I just flicked water in my face. Oh, that's awkward. Gotta love things that happen on live streams. But yeah, so the other website I wanted to talk to you guys about is unsplash.com. Now, if you're wondering, what is unsplash.com? Unsplash.com. I'm going to share my screen once again. Let's see here. I'm going to go share a Chrome tab. Yep. So this is unsplash.com. This is a royalty-free image website. So, for example, we'll use Aaron, for example. You can do, you can find, sorry, I can't talk all of a sudden. Kind of a little short-winded there. We'll do like, metal rock. So for Aaron, this would be a great website. They have the different concert videos. And now this is something I do want to stress that at the very top, you can browse premium images with 20% off at iStock. I personally don't use that. I just come down here and I just try to find whatever image I can through this. And if I don't feel like I have found it yet, you can load more options and really just keep going until you find something that works for you. So, let's see here. So, obviously, I'm not in the metal React niche, but that would be perfect for him. But we'll actually use this is one that would be great for gardening. Sorry, I am just kind of out of it. I've been away from this for a little bit now because of being sick. COVID is no joke. Helps if I know how to type. I am a college student. I promise. I'm a senior in college. So from this, so Girl with Angie, this lady right here, howdy. This would be perfect for her. Just typing in gardening, you could see that there's a lot of different images that people have uploaded. Now, one of the things that a lot of people that upload these, because these are like talented photographers who have uploaded these images, a lot of the time they just ask you give them a shout out in your description that like thanks to this person. Or I'll just use this for example. If I was to use this one of soil, I say thanks to Gabriel for letting me use this image. And a lot of people really they enjoy it. That's really all they ask for. Not all of them, and you don't really have to, but it's just a nice thing to do. Like they're putting this stuff up for people to use. It's nice to just get the recognition that you didn't just find this on some random website, that that someone took their time to get the image. So that's one thing I do want to stress about Unsplash. A lot of content creators will tell you that the same thing, that you want to give shout outs to people who have taken the time to really take the photo, even if it's with their smartphone, to make it look really good for you. So you're going back to the stream. I'm going to stop sharing that screen. So thumbnails. Thumbnails are great. Now, are they hard? I'm sure anyone in the chat who you've seen, whether it be Aaron or Nano or Angie, they would all tell you that thumbnails are probably one of the most important parts of your video. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to go above and beyond. There's some people like Mr. Beast, like Preston from Preston Plays, Eric, who hire out their thumbnails to different people, and they spend quite a bit of money on their thumbnails, and they make them, supreme. They make them look great. They make them look amazing. And if you've seen any Mr. Beast thumbnails, even lately, you know that he has his thumbnails are just amazing. They're basically gold. And same with like Eric, same with like Brent Riviera. These are all bigger content creators who actually outsourced their thumbnails to other people to make their thumbnails look that much better, because they knew that they could focus more just on the video itself instead of like stressing over the thumbnail, making sure it looks the best. And that's something you might want to consider in the long haul. But that's something to consider. I know that for me personally, like I personally enjoy making my thumbnails. Because I know I would envision what I want and what's going to work and what's not going to work. Hey, I didn't splash myself this time. I'm grateful for that. But yeah, oh my, yeah. Angie's a celebrity when it comes to YouTube. If you want to talk about someone who just is killing it with regards to their YouTube channel, Angie, this lady right here, Growth Angie, is really just killing it. And so definitely check her out. But so when it comes to thumbnails, let's say you get to the point in your YouTube journey, like where you can hire out. You can go to Fiverr.com. I'll pull it up. I pulled this up before. Fiverr.com. So I'm going to share my screen. Hang on a sec. Something just popped up. There we go. I'm going to share my screen one more time. Actually, here, I want to go back to that because Aaron just brought up a question. He says, is there a slightly newer YouTuber in the horror genre that is really underrated in their thumbnails? There is a slightly newer YouTube. That's what he said. There is a slightly new YouTuber in the horror genre that's really underrated in his thumbnails. I'll have to check him out. I've never really checked him out, Aaron. He definitely seems like someone that has potential. So one thing I do want to talk to you guys about really quickly before we go, but I'm getting sidetracked. I'm going like different shoots. I kind of feel like it's just like a web, and I'm trying to bring this whole thing together. But yeah, I'll definitely have to check him out. So I wanted to bring up Fiverr because this is something that I might end up using in the long term. So this is Fiverr. On here, you can hire people to make your thumbnails. You can become an editor where people can reach out to you. They pay you a certain amount of money, and they say like, "Hey, I want to offer you $100 to make this thumbnail for me. What do you got?" And really, if you're doing it like that, take it seriously, because they will, as far as I know, they do leave reviews, and you don't want to make yourself look bad. So it's a very easy website to understand. Like, and you can create free accounts. You can do all sorts of things. Music and audio, video and animation. There's so much things, and they're constantly adding new things. Like they just added new things: social media videos, NFT animation, video advice. There's local photography that's in beta right now, so that would pertain to me. There's so much that goes into it. Like, there's marketing advice, there's graphic and design. So here you go. This is what you would want if you wanted for like logo and brand, but they also have fonts and typography. That was a very essential part. But there's also other things like, there's packaging and covers, there's fashion and jewelry. That really, the sky's the limit with this website. And if you like, we'll just click on logo design. We'll just go on here, and so you just want to see, these are some of the pricing. So this person is starting at $25 an hour. if you pay them $25, they'll design 3 modern minimalist logo designs. This person is $10. I will design 3 modern designs, flat logo, for a flat fee of $10. And then it just kind of goes up from there. Like if you come down here, there's some people. Let's see here. Oh, and then if you, let's say like we'll do $500, which I would never spend that, but to $1,000 apply. So you can see right here, that's saying, so it definitely, you can make a killing on this. Like, let's say like if you're a content creator that's really wanting to kind of up your editing game, if you want to make some quick extra bucks, some quick extra cash, step up your editing game and really just come on here and let edit things for people. Like, I will create an immaculate logo for basically $1,000. This person will create an immaculate logo. And so, let's see here. So really, the sky's the limit with this. Like you can see, there's so many people that are willing to do this. I will design a powerful logo for you, a powerful modern logo for you. I do a branded logo design for $600. That's actually a pretty good deal. I will design a logo and branding board for you, $500. So really, the sky's the limit when it comes to this. Let's see here. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen just for now. So really, when it comes down to making thumbnails, you got to just up your game all the time. I have seen a lot of people who have had some terrible thumbnails. I've seen some people that had out of this world amazing thumbnails. Mr. Beast is a great example of someone who knows what a good thumbnail looks like, and that's why he always hires it out to a specific person, because he knows what he's looking for, and that person that he sends it out to knows what he's looking for. And so that's another great thing about outsourcing. But I wanted to show you guys how I used to go about doing my thumbnails, and that was, I would come over here to YouTube. I'm just pulling up my YouTube channel right now, my studio, excuse me. All right, so I'm going to share a screen. I've been sharing the screen a lot just because I want to be, I can't even think of the word. I don't want to hide anything from you guys. Like, I don't want you guys thinking like I'm hiding stuff from you. So this is my channel dashboard. And so what I used to do is I would come over here. We'll just click on some random video that I made. Like, let's see here. We'll just do this one. So obviously, this is like where you put all your stuff in. But from here, I would come over. Where is it? So I would just, at the very get-go, what I would do is I would just grab a screen grab. And then, I would just hit save, and then it would just look bad. Like that looks really bad, in my honest opinion. I would not, let me zoom this in just a little bit so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, maybe not. You can see right there, like that would look really bad, right? So what I would do is that's what I would do. And so instead of making a great thumbnail, I would just do that. And so now, because I did that, I actually got to go back and I got to re-download this. And that's another thing, is you can always change your thumbnails out. You can always make them look better. So I'm just going to go to my projects real quick and download that one that I just had, this one. And I'm going to download this. Let's see here. Download. So from here, I just want to, put this back to what it was, because I'm very persistent about making sure my thumbnails look the best. So I'm just putting this one back. I'm just going to save it. And so that now it's back to how it used to be. And so my advice to you, as the viewer, whether you're watching on live or on the back on the replay. Oh, thank you. Transparent. I want to be transparent with you guys. Being transparent is one of the most important parts about being a content creator, especially like helping you guys be better content creators. But going back to that screen grab, don't just grab a screen grab. I talked to you guys earlier about that video about that job that I applied for with that space station integrations and gaming. All I did for my thumbnails was just grab a screen grab. Obviously, I didn't get the job because it was like a toddler applying for a toddler skilled thumbnail or individual applying for a college level skilled person in the same situation. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. It made sense in my brain. But really, don't just grab a screen grab. Really just make sure that you spend time on your thumbnail. And if you don't have time, outsource it. I showed you guys this website, and that's Fiverr. Okay, and see, this is another person. We have Elliot, family of 7. This guy, he makes all of his thumbnails on his phone. He's like the king when it comes to like mobile making thumbnails. And then Angie's like, I grab screen grabs. Oh man, I feel like I'm just about to get rated. I have a strong feeling I'm about to get rated from Colin. I think Colin's stream just ended, and so I have a feeling that I'm about to get rated. We got Sharkfin, so Sharkfin is just kind of honest. But I want to go back to Angie's comment. Angie, there's nothing wrong with screen grabs, as long as you download it and put some other stuff to go along with it. Like, you don't just use some random video from your video, some random photo from your video, and use that as your thumbnail with nothing. Like, you saw what I did with the other video. Like, I just did a little demonstration how I had like the the little marker on the guy's head, on his shoulder, and it showed me and a little picture above. Like, that just would have looked really bad. But going back to Sharkfin, he's like, hello, Anthony and fellow chatters. Thank you, Sharkfin, for coming by. I appreciate you so much. And then Elliot, family of 7, said, there's a saying, there's an app for that. And it's so true. If you guys, let's say, like, if you're like Elliot, family of 7, or as we call him in the Clubhouse community, A-Train, you don't have access to a computer. Let's say you're like, I just want to do this all mobile. Colin, who's been on my live streams before, he's talked about this, and there is an app for that. It's called Canva. You can get Canva as an app on iOS and on Android, and really just take your game up to a whole nother level. And there's so many others. There's KineMaster. There's so many great ways that you can make thumbnails from your mobile device, and really just get involved with it. Because to me, I love making thumbnails because it's like the frosting on the cake. You've already spent a ton of time editing, making your really banger of a video. Now you just need that frosting, that cherry on top, and that is the thumbnail. And so I cannot stress that enough, because thumbnails are important. I will, if you look, I'm going to share my screen again. You'll see that some of my videos, especially my live streams. Thanks, Angie, for stopping by. I appreciate you a lot. And then Aaron's like, "That's true, Elliot fam. That's true, Elliot fam. It's so true. There's an app for that." But I wanted to take you guys back and show you. Let's see here. I'm going to share screen. I'm going to share Chrome tab. Now you guys are going to see how transparent I am. I'm showing you guys some of my content, and this is something I don't normally do. So you can see right here. Let's see here. I'll just go to lives, because some of my lives don't have thumbnails. And I was talking earlier about how I was using the same basic thumbnail for the longest time. It really kind of hurt my retention. Like, there for a while, my retention went up to like 65. Then it started going back down, and then it went back up. But then I was just using the same thumbnail, which is something that I would recommend that you not do. And so if you look at my pre-recorded content, a lot of these are ones that I've already made. These are ones that I spent time on. You know, I didn't really understand. Like, oh, we'll show this one. You can see right here. Look at this. This was actually a photo that I took. And so what I did is I took this photo and I put it into Canva. And it's okay for your first video, but the thumbnail, there's so much wrong with this thumbnail. You know, the letterings, you can't really see the lettering. I didn't really know what I was doing, and then I had too much text on the screen when it came down to it, and then it just would look bad, especially like since most people are looking at this on a mobile device. Some of this would be cut off. This would be probably cut off where it says surprise at the end right here. It just looked really bad. And so please take it from my experience. Don't do this. I cannot stress that enough. Like, limit your text on it. Like, I mean, even this was from a few months ago. I had too much lettering right here. I had gear review part 1, even though I put it right there as the title. I did the GVM, great video maker, and then I had it right under it. Subscribe. It looks bad. It looks bad. But then, excuse me. Then you come over here. This was my last pre-recorded one that I made, which I'm actually going to be recording some more tonight. So, Aaron, I know you're in the chat. I'm recording more tonight. I promise you, more is coming. But this was my most recent upload for a pre-recorded. And so there's no wording. I just point at the Rode mics that I'm using. And then I just say in the title, gear review, Rode wireless mics. Are they worth it? And so I didn't even put any of that. Like, can you imagine if this lettering was in this? Like, it just would have made it just look really bad. The retention rate would have been really bad. If you look at the analytics are amazing. I actually received a subscriber from just that one video, which was impressive. And so the average percentage view is 11.5, and a lot of it really comes because people saw the thumbnail and they just thought, wow, this is a great thumbnail, because I had that YouTube face. You can see the whites in my eyes. I look excited about it because I was excited. But yeah, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. So I want to go back to the chat and so Family of 7 says, all work is for nothing if no one clicks on an appealing thumbnail. Exactly. This right here. If you can take anything away from this live stream, it is this. And then Sharkfin said, most guys prefer to grab volatile, or wrong street. He's always has to bring up the jokes, don't you, Sharkfin? And then so Aaron says, it certainly just has a generic for the thumbnail, just like an ad for medicine. Exactly. Like, you want to make your videos stand out. Like, you didn't go through all that recording process, the editing, for nothing, for to have no one watch your videos, right? You want your videos to take off. You want them to get like over 1,000 views. I have yet to have that happen. Hopefully here soon. I'm hoping. But Aaron's actually a great person to use for this example. Like, he just first started his YouTube journey again a couple weeks ago. He's already had some of his videos that have had 4.5K views, if I'm right. Correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron. Like, that I could be wrong on that, but like, it's because people get excited about it, and really just they love being able to help other people, and not just help other people, but entertain other people. Excuse me, up to 0.5K. Excuse me, 5.5K. We can't all be like Aaron, but we can be better, right? We can always be better. There's a motto I always stand by, and that is 1% better with every video. And speaking of Aaron, someone has just popped up backstage. This is a guy that I have known for a while. You saw him on my most recent pre-recorded video, and he's probably gonna be on a few others in the future. We'll see. But without further ado, what up, man?
How is everybody going? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Perfect. Yep, here I am. I'm right here.
So I noticed you grow the facial hair back.
Yeah, finally, when I got out of that dead end job, I decided to kind of grow back the old pirate stash.
It kind of looks like a Ra's al Ghul from the Batman series.
Beautiful. I love it.
So, Aaron, what's your take on thumbnails?
Ooh, I think another thing that's kind of interesting when it comes to thumbnails is I'm kind of still trying to experiment. Is it really depends on like what you're kind of covering. As for me, like I said, like this kind of just really went up out of nowhere. How everything has happened with my channel, and I actually admit that I don't make good YouTube thumbnails at all. They're honestly terrible. But what I will say that one thing that I do know that does generally grab the particular group of people that watches my videos is that they want to be able to see what they're going to get into first. So, for example, I do a lot of reactions, and a lot of it is actually generally music that I haven't ever listened to before, but they have listened to it a lot. So the moment they start seeing their favorite artist pop up in that thumbnail, they're going to be clicking on it because they recognize the face.
Yeah. And so, I mean, so how do you feel about, like, would you, like, let's say a couple years go down the road, you're into the YPP like me. Like, let's say we're both now into the YPP, at this point. I'm not in the YPP yet. But would you go back and would you change up your thumbnails just to get more of a click-through rate?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Even now, I actually even upgraded 2 of my thumbnails on my newest videos that just came out over Friday and Thursday.
So what advice would you say to someone? Like, would you say, like, I can't even get the words out. My brain is just like in a fog. It's that COVID fog. Everyone knows the COVID fog.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of messes with your brain. But if someone was to come to you and say, like, Aaron, I really want to improve my thumbnails, like, where would you suggest they go?
I think that you made a very good point with Canva. Thankfully, because of Tony, I actually have been able to use Canva now. And it's really kind of helped out a lot. Before, I was using an app called Vista Create. And it was okay for what I had. Like, I could take pictures. I could have multiple pictures in it. I could add text. I could add a photo and remove backgrounds. I had the whole shebang.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like, it was good for what I had. But obviously now I'm going to start. And in fact, even my newest video, I actually started using Canva. And it's, I think as soon as I changed it, I could already see views starting to tick back up.
Yeah, it's like a 9-day difference, right?
Yeah. And it wasn't even really like a big difference, but because it had the tools that I needed, that was really why I think it really took off on Canva.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, before I even knew about Canva, I was using Adobe Photoshop, which for those who are watching this, whether it be live or on the replay, like, I have nothing against Photoshop. I love Photoshop. I use it to this day. But my Photoshop thumbnails were garbage. They were complete garbage. Like, I cannot even exaggerate this. Like, they were garbage. Like, they were like see-through letters. It would just look bad. And so it was kind of funny, like that video, that thumbnail I showed where the 3 steps to better photography. Like, that's actually a thumbnail. The first thumbnail I used for that was one I made in Adobe Photoshop, and it had the see-through letters, and it showed a picture of me, like, of my hands holding the camera, and having. I literally had my mom grab my phone, take a photo of the camera as I'm holding it, and I made it look like I was making some adjustments to the different settings on my DSLR. And I can tell you right now, that thumbnail sucked. Like, it was just garbage. And you probably even saw that thumbnail a long time ago. Like, I ended up deleting it because it was so bad. And so I went, especially once I went to Canva. But yeah. Nano says, Anthony, your brain is fried. Nano, you got to understand, I had COVID. COVID destroys your brain. You had that COVID fog. Everyone who's had COVID knows that your brain just goes into like a mush for like a good few weeks. So thanks for rubbing it in. Thanks for reminding me. But so Aaron, if you were to come across like a new creator, and if they had like one of those YouTube face thumbnails, like where they're just like really excited, like would
Yeah.
you be more apt to look at their video over someone that just had this screenshot of whatever it was that they had uploaded? Like, which one would you be more apt to do or to click on between the two?
Well, I definitely think that I'd be going for the one that has the picture of the person, because you want to see who the channel is and what the channel's about, and usually you get all that information right in the middle of the thumbnail.
Yeah. So there's a great creator that I follow on Facebook. He's a gaming creator. His name's Darkness429, and he could easily just throw up the same basic thumbnail every time when he does a weekly, like a daily live stream, Monday through Friday. He could easily just throw up the same basic thumbnail, and he knows that he could get a great following. But he takes the time to go to Canva or wherever and upgrade and change his thumbnail every time, whether it be like of him, where he's photoshopped himself onto a different thing, because that's really what it takes when it comes to being a content creator. Like, you can't just go on cruise control and expect that you're just going to have success as a content creator.
You're absolutely right. That actually kind of brought up a YouTuber that I really have followed for quite a few years that has absolutely just nailed all their thumbnails, and that's the Game Theorist. If you don't know Matt Pat, he always just has really good, I think, solid thumbnails, because like I know you can't see it, but like right behind my camera, I'm actually checking out. I actually got your stream up, and I've got his thumbnails going, and
let me just pull it up on my screen real quick.
Yeah,
you can keep talking. Why?
Yeah, no, you're good. And it kind of gives you everything you need to know. Like, for example, here's one from Film Theory that he also does, where it's got a picture of Thor. It's got something kind of like underlined or circled that, he wants you to kind of pay attention to, even though it might not even mean anything. And it says, did Thor's post-credit scene just set up? Spoiler. And, it's obviously kind of tongue-in-cheek, because it's, the way that he has it signed up. It's like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Here's a picture of Thor winking, and here's all this mysterious background. And, when I see that, I'm like, well, what could that be? How could that be a possibility? Like, or even at the very top, if you have it pulled up, he's got the picture of...
What's his name again? Sorry?
The Game Theorist.
The Game Theorist, that's right.
Yeah, Matt Pat. And at the very top, he also has a new video that came out 2 days ago. And it's could this exist? And it's a picture of Minecraft, and obviously the world of the blog.
Hang on.
We looked at this thing from top to bottom.
I just totally gave the guys some free advertising.
But the thumbnail is kind of interesting, because he has this whole thing of like the science of, and he tries to explain it in like a scientific method. And I mean, it's just perfect, because it's like, it's still got just like the Minecraft look, right? But then it's kind of got that inquisitive face. Could this exist in these big, bold letters? I just think that he's really got that down. And I think that's kind of a masterclass, because a lot of it also has like his logo in it as well.
Yeah. And see, is this the person you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one in the top left.
I mean, you can definitely tell, like, he goes all out on his thumbnails. Like, he doesn't just BS it at all.
Yeah, definitely not.
Like, you can see, like, even like with this one, like that would be eye-catching itself. Like, the final smash, and you can see, like, someone that's very excited.
That's Markiplier.
And then he has, like, the evil cow. Can your mind be controlled?
Yeah, his thumbnails are just like, I wouldn't even say that necessarily that they're always like super informative. Like, that part is part of it, but it's always really fun. Like, if you just even kind of look at any of these, you're just kind of like, wow, like that's crazy. Shield beats sword from Elden Ring, and the science of the iron lung. Like, all those is just like... For
all you Pokemon lovers, he has quite a few Pokemon ones right here where he's just like, Pokemon human clone. How this works, the missing link. How rich is a Pokemon master, the Pokemon multiverse? Like, oh my gosh, like this guy, he knows what he's doing.
He does. I mean, his bread and butter is obviously Five Nights at Freddy's, FNAF. He's got, oh man, I think it's probably up over close to 200 videos just on FNAF.
I mean, Sorry,
all
go
of those thumbnails. No, I was just gonna say, and all those thumbnails are exactly what he is the information that he wants you to perceive.
So you can definitely tell that, like, he knows what he's doing because he has over 16 million subscribers. You can definitely see that, his channel logo alone just looks amazing. But just going back to the thumbnails, like, I mean, this guy takes pride in his thumbnails. Like, I mean, even the Andy's dead brother. Now you can definitely see that, like, he took his time with that thumbnail because he wanted to make sure that people knew, like, he was very serious about it.
Yeah. I just always think that out of a lot of the people that are on YouTube, he's probably got some of the most memorable thumbnails. And I think not even just because what he has, but he kind of has the color cornered. Like, as soon as you see anything with like that kind of Xbox green, you're like, well, that's probably Matt Pat from the Game Theory. And even the red, like, it's very distinctive. I think that's another thing is, like, in fact, while I'm looking at your channel right now, a lot of your new videos that you've put out have really, really strong colors. Like, even the one for tonight, like, make a better thumbnail, you got that like nice blue into purple look, like, and then it's got your picture, obviously. But I think that the thing that's really quite astounding when you use these colors is that because it attracts the eye and it creates that contrast, it's definitely going to make people want to click through for that reason.
Oh, for sure. So excuse me, I'm still getting rid of all the aftermath of COVID.
You're good.
I remember when I first started on YouTube, like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was so confused when it came down to YouTube. Like, I was like I said in the beginning of my stream tonight, like, I legitimately had to Google what is a thumbnail.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I did not know what a thumbnail was. I was just like, what's a thumbnail? Like, I had to, like, if it was a cartoon, like, it would just have me as a super thought with a question mark above my head, like, what's a thumbnail? And so I think that's one thing that people definitely underutilize, and that's one thing that everyone needs to continue to utilize. I mean, I'm going to pull up another YouTuber right now. This is one that we all know. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna. This is one that everyone knows. He actually just crossed 100 million subscribers this week, and so you already know who I'm
the
talking.
Old Mr. Beast.
But I want to bring up his thumbnails because he definitely knows what he's doing. Like, when it comes to thumbnails, like, I mean, you look at this last one for 100 girls versus 100 boys. You can see, like, his team took a lot of time on this thumbnail. Like, you can definitely tell, like, as a content creator, like, that did not take
5 seconds.
5 seconds. That took like probably hours just to do. Or like, I didn't eat for 30 days. He had to really, even when you go down here, like, you look at some of his other stuff, like 100 people, last leave the circle wins $500,000. Or
didn't you say that he sends out his thumbnails to other people, or does he do it himself?
I believe he does. Or another great person that actually does do that, who I know for serious, that I do know that seriously does this, is, see here, is this guy named Ben. Is this guy right here? Let's see here. This guy right here, he sends out all his thumbnails. Ben, what he will do is he'll take the initial photo, and, like, so say for like this one, for example, like where my mouse is hovering, he took that initial photo and then he outsourced it to make it look like he's actually crawling a building. So in real life, he was actually just on the ground. Like, I saw the before and after, and that's just one thing you have to do as a content creator.
For sure. Hey, so if you want, I could embarrass myself right here.
Go ahead.
So I have my old YouTube channel still up.
Oh. And
when I'm saying old channels, my first video was 6 years ago. That's how old.
Okay.
And it was all shot on a GoPro, and I actually still have the microphone because the microphone's decent. is the only thing good about that channel. So if you want to run into some really truly horrendous thumbnails, just go ahead into your search and type in my first name, Aaron, and then space C, and then type in my biggest video for that was "She is like autumn." I used to do poetry. That's how pathetic I used to be. But
Where is it? Is it
it
this
should
one?
be. It's the one that should be a picture of our friend Haley.
Well, no. Which channel is it?
Oh, it should be called just Aaron C. And it should have a picture of my dumb face.
In my dumb face. Nope. Okay, let's try to find it. Can you send that to me like back channel, like so we can pull it up?
Yeah, here, hold on one sec. I'll send it to you. I'm still here. I'm just
No, you're good. I figured you hadn't left.
Yeah. Aaron, I'm sending you in the back chat.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh man, this is a treat. You guys can cringe, you can gag, like it's so bad. Heck, even if you can make whatever comments you want because this scene is bad.
I remember that. I think I vaguely remember this video. I remember vaguely like looking at him. Okay.
Yeah, there we are. I sent it to you.
Okay, let me pull it up real quick. Okay, let me hang on. Oh man. I remember this. Oh my gosh. I remember
Oh
this.
dude, all of these thumbnails. This isn't going to be a masterclass. You taught beautifully like how to make a good thumbnail. Let me come in and be the antithesis on how not to make a thumbnail, please. And I think that this old channel here is absolutely 100% a masterclass of what not to do.
Okay, so I'm going to pull it up right now. Everyone get ready because here it is. There it is.
Hey. Click on the videos bar. There's even more bad ones. This is just the tip of the iceberg, dude.
Oh my gosh, Aaron.
People wonder, and I wonder why that channel failed, right? Holy cow. Plans for 2016. And the best thing is there's this one right here that says update number 1. I didn't even know that GoPros could come out of that plastic protective case. So the audio on it is like non-existent.
Oh my gosh. 60 years ago, 49 views. 50 views. The horror block march.
Yeah, I used to unbox these things called horror blocks, and they were actually pretty cool because like in it I got like a picture that was signed from the twins from The Shining, like autographed. I have like stuff autographed from like Rob Zombie and Vincent Price and stuff through them. But yeah, look at those thumbnails. Passion and reason. Reasons and passion.
Order 66 official trailer.
Yeah, so I was actually working on a podcast that was a spin-off from it was about an assassin that was supposed to work for Darth Palpatine or Darth Sidious. I mean, it was actually kind of cool, but and actually even the sound design on it is not bad, but that thumbnail is awful. My apologies.
All right, let's just look at it. So for those who, wow, I mean, this one got 3.5K views. That's impressive.
Yeah, I don't even know why either. Like, I will say one thing. Even though these thumbnails were terrible, I put in the work and I wrote every single piece of poetry.
I could see that.
What's that?
I could see that.
Yeah, that was tough. But and it made that actually kind of what happened along with like the podcast too. Like Tony probably mentioned from the beginning, I think he did, but like I was off YouTube for a long time because I tried everything that I was really passionate about, like Halloween and horror and poetry and stories, and I saw that like at the time unboxing videos were like massive, so I thought I could ride the trend, and they did okay, like 60 views. You know, like that's not bad for back then, especially. But
dude, look
it
at your
just
hippie hair. Holy crap.
yeah, that was probably when my hair was the longest. It was actually down to my shoulders when it was wet. But after trying so hard, like I put in a lot of effort, and I'm sure that a lot of the reason why it failed was probably because of these thumbnails. But I tried and I tried and I tried multiple different things. I remember I wrote seasons of stories, like 2-3 seasons of like 30 episodes of stories, and the podcast failed, the YouTube videos failed, and I just got so turned off by it. But you know, funny enough is after I kind of made that small little comeback about a little over a month ago, it's just been really different. And I think honestly a lot of it just has to do with the with thumbnails being so much better, and they're not even good.
You bring a good point, and I'm gonna look up your new channel.
Yep. And like I said, they're still not great. A lot of them are screenshots, but
all right. I always have the
Kill Deer 25.
That's right.
Yeah.
And see, I'm still having a hard time with it. Hang on a second.
Yeah, it's because I'm still kind of a new guy. Is it double E on the deer?
Oh, kill. What? Remind me again. Sorry, Killer.
Kill, Kill.
Okay.
Deer, Deer, double ER.
Okay.
25. Like,
there you are.
There we go. Bingo, bingo. Hey, that logo is because of Tony, and so is that art cover.
You're too kind.
It's pretty much true.
But I mean, you can definitely tell that, like, you've definitely amped up your whole thing now. Like, you can. I mean, just looking at your thumbnails, and I can't talk all of a sudden. But you can definitely tell, like, I mean, you're getting plenty more views. Like, let's see here. Let's look at your one. This one had 1K views.
The big one is that one right there, the Dreamcatcher. Right now it's sitting at 5.3K, not 5.5.
Oh, yeah. Metalhead reacts to K-pop sensation Dreamcatcher. Man.
Yeah. And, you know, one thing that I do have to say, something that goes along with, I think, thumbnails is proper titling of your video, by the way. That could be a whole section unto itself.
Yes. So that brings up a great point. And so when it comes to thumbnails, like, thumbnails are great. I'm not discrediting thumbnails at all. I would never do that for the life of me. But you have to have keywords. You know, so for example, like, you know, you do a lot of stuff. So even, Aaron, a suggestion I would do to you, like, you know how you do these ones that say, like, you know, Metalhead reacts to Dreamcatcher or Fly High for whatever this is.
Yeah.
Put reacts in all caps, and it's going to even take it up that much more of a notch. Like,
and that could be.
So when this stream's over, I'm going to send you the whole outline of, like, how I put my descriptions and everything. And
please do.
You can definitely copy it, because it's one that actually Think Media gave us us Video Ranking Academy students.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Aaron, do you have any advice for anyone that's thinking, like, I don't know if I really want to do this because, like, thumbnails sound like a pain. I feel like I just want to give up. Like, or like, what would be your advice to someone that's like, I really just don't know if I really want to take the time with thumbnails?
Well, again, to me, the biggest thing about thumbnails, and even though, like I said, my thumbnails aren't really what I would consider to be like top tier Mr. Beast thumbnails, but I think the one thing is that if you're serious about being a YouTuber, you don't skimp on the details anywhere. So, like, if you're willing to go and record for 3-4, you know, a lot of people, including me included, I batch record. So if you actually, like, I'll record like 2 or 3 videos at a time, and if you watch the videos, you can actually see, like, I'll be wearing the same shirt and the same hats in every single video. But if you're going to put in that much time to make a thumbnail or to make a video, and it takes you, I mean, like our friend Angie, some of those videos probably take her hours to do. Why would you not take the time to match the effort that's on your thumbnails as well? I mean, it's just as important. I mean, even if you want to go and look at those old, like those old thumbnails that I had on my other channel, I put in all the effort in the world, and look what it got me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the truth of it. So, as is with everything, there's two things with YouTube that is always a constant truth, and that is one, like you always say, and you've repeated to me multiple times, one, never stop YouTubing. Two, put in the effort. And three, you got to be able to match the energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are putting in the energy to record, you got to be able to convey that's what your thumbnail also says. You got to be able to convey that that's what your titles say. That's what your passion, and like you say, a lot of times it's a business for people. And if you go into any business at all and they have just like a letter size piece of paper with their company scribbled onto it, their logo and their theme, who's going to go into that business? Nobody. You got to go for the full distance, and you got to put in the you got to apply the equal amount of effort everywhere in the video. So I think those are kind of just like the constant truths about YouTube. Always YouTube. Keep moving forward even when you're discouraged. Make sure that your thumbnail matches your tone, and make sure your titles always match your tone as well.
Yeah, and I think that you brought up a great thing, and I know that's I appreciate you coming up and talking to me about this, but you reminded me of something. When we recorded that last pre-recorded video, like we were doing the gear reviews of these guys right here.
Yeah.
You brought something up to me off camera that I completely knew about from the get-go. You're like, dude, your first video, you were like a statue. You're like, I looked at your first video, I was like, what is with Tony? Like, he's just like,
Dude,
I
like to go back and watch those videos for entertainment. Even my old videos, I like to go back and watch because they're so terrible.
I mean, especially like when it comes to starting out on YouTube, everyone knows that you're not gonna come into this like with a banger. Like, you're not. It's just how it is. Like,
more truth.
the more you record, the better you're gonna get. Sean Cannell always says that, and you always hear me say this: 1% better with every video.
Yeah.
Like, even if you go back and you look at, and I've shared this before, Sean's one of his first videos, he's like, so this is the Sean Thinks vlog. I'm not going to do this I'm not going to be entertaining. I'm not going to really do this. But then you look at his videos now where he's like really excited. He's energetic. He's just loving life. You're just like, oh my gosh, like it's like that other awkward Sean doesn't even exist. Like, this is the Sean that we all know that we like.
Yeah. I think you bring up something kind of interesting. And I think another thing is that's very typical of YouTubers is that you always got to have like this persona. You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever you watch someone like, and I mean, if you ever watch an interview with Mr. Beast and then watch a video of Mr. Beast, it's like two different people, right? It's like he's in there like, yeah, absolutely. Like, no, we take all the money, we put it back into the channel. And then as soon as you click on the channel, also he's like, what's going on, guys? Oh my goodness. And I think in a sense, like, as cool as that is, for people that start out on YouTube, I don't know if that's always the best route to go about. I think people want to get to know who you are first before you start going crazy like that. And honestly, I just always think being genuine is good.
And you always have to be genuine. Like, you genuinely have to be genuine, because like if you're wanting to do this, like, for example, I plan on doing this for a career. Like, I plan on doing this, like, have my own media company, all this. If you're doing this for a living, you got to put forth the effort.
Mm-hmm.
You look at big time, even other YouTubers like Preston, who is from Preston Plays, in his like, in whatever channel he's doing, because he has a few different channels. Like, I'll use his Preston Reacts channel, for example. He doesn't go like, oh man, that's awkward. He's like, oh, like this, like that cannot believe that just happened.
Yeah.
Like, he's really like energetic. He's just loving life. And even if you look at like even Mr. Beast philanthropy channels, he still gets excited. He's like, in today's video, we're gonna be giving all these computers to this great school right here, and then we're gonna be going to another school. He's really energetic. He just loves it. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. If he was to go on there and say like, well, we're gonna probably just go give these computers to this person over
Hey
here.
guys.
Hey guys, like I mean, no one would click on it. Even if it was Mr. Beast, no one would click on it. They'd say like, dude, like, where's your energy? And that's why, like, whenever I see a new video from these different bigger content creators, I already get excited when I see their thumbnail because I know it's going to be a great video because like I can see that they're really excited in their videos. Like there's a guy that's he's down in southern Utah. For those who don't know, Aaron and I both are in the same city right now. We both live in the same city.
Yeah.
And there's another guy that he lives down in southern Utah. His name is Branson Tannerites. And some of his all of his thumbnails, they like I'll use one that he did from a few weeks ago where he let big time YouTubers control what he ate for 24 hours. Like, and in the video, he's just like, he's like has his really shocked face, he's pointing, and so as video when you click on the video, he has that same energy and that he does in the thumbnail, and that's you can't
have two different tones. It's got to match.
You can't be like all energetic in your video and then also like, welcome to my channel. Bye.
Very good.
But go ahead.
I kind of going along with what you're saying just before going on that. One of the most beautiful quotes I ever heard was probably from one of my more favorite YouTubers. He's not really what I would consider kid friendly, but he does do a lot of good content. But he had a quote that absolutely nailed, I think, all of our journeys. Because like I said, this is not my first rodeo, and the other times honestly sucked. But he went through something similar to what we were going through. And everyone always just assumed that he just was popular overnight. Like he just uploaded his first video and bang, popular. And someone asked him about that. And he said, and I quote, yeah, it took 10 years to become an overnight sensation. And to me, that encompasses like kind of just everything about YouTube because it is a grind. And I think, Tony, you can absolutely attest to that. Okay. It is so hard all the time. But, oh, man, I live by that. I live by that you're just not going to be an overnight sensation. You're going to be an overnight sensation in 10 years, that it signifies that grind.
Well, and you bring up a good point. I made a comment on Clubhouse of like about a month and a half ago. Mm-hmm. I said I would rather not go viral for any of my videos, and I would rather have evergreen content that's continually being watched than have that one video that goes viral. Because if you have that one video that goes viral, you're having to now mount up to 1% better than that, and to a lot of people, that's intimidating, and people get burned out, and that's why they give up. I believe the percentage is that only 10% of potential content creators actually make it to the 1K because so many, like we bring this up all the time on Clubhouse, where they will say that like, yeah, I want to start a YouTube channel, have fun, like, become a YouTuber for a living. They expect it to happen in 3 months. No. And so, and I've talked with people out in public about it. I've talked with other people on different platforms where they've given up. I'm like, well, why'd you give up? Like, well, I tried for like 3 months and it didn't work. And I'm like, you didn't give it enough time. Like you didn't, because, I bring this up a lot, and that's the algorithm is your friend. The YouTube algorithm, it really is your friend. Like, and if you only spend 3 months creating content and then you think, okay, well, this isn't going anywhere, I'm done. You didn't give the algorithm enough time to really push out your content to the necessary crowd, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. The thing that actually kind of breaks my heart is I've had quite a few friends come to me, and because when I first joined YouTube to do this, I definitely tried to make it a point that people knew, and a lot of the friends that I knew that decided to start a YouTube channel. See, I can barely talk to, and the thing that it honestly breaks my heart. One of my good friends, I'm going to kind of throw him under the bus a little bit. His name is Andrew, and he wanted to be like the comics book guy on YouTube, and I even went down that route myself, and I failed at that as well. But the thing that was interesting about that, though, is that he had all the gusto, he had all the talent. He was actually a tremendous artist. And in fact, he had won like multiple art awards recently when he was talking to me about that. And he put on a couple of like 2 or 3 videos of him doing let's plays about at the time was the new Spider-Man game on the PS4. And he just like had all this hype, he had all this energy, and he went through and he just went with gusto and just kept pounding and pounding for about 2 months. Then all of a sudden, gone, no more uploads. And he's just like, yeah, I just wasn't quite getting the views that I was getting, and I was just kind of not really happy with the progress that I was making. And even if you go to the channel this day, he was doing well for someone. I personally think that, like, and this is actually something else that Jacksepticeye, Sean, he always talks about too, is like, if you really truly honestly think about it, like someone who gets upset at having 25, 253 views, 2,000 views, 5,000 views, that's a lot of people. Like, take where you're recording right now. Could you fit 200 people in that room? No, probably not. Like, success is measured in a different way. And, you know, it just makes me really sad because I think a lot of people do, like you're saying, like they think it's just going to be this walk in the park, that it's this picnic, and so they're going to have brand deals and all this other stuff, and it just ends up not working out. And it breaks my heart because I know that I feel like that I'm one of those people that if you have a dream, you should always go for it, because no matter how hard you strive for that dream, you will land around something that you'll always want to do.
Yeah, and see, you bring up a great point, and I actually brought this up on Clubhouse. I said, life is too short to be boring.
Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, you know, and you also reminded me a little while ago about, so when I was working at Bowman's, for those who don't know, when I first started my YouTube journey, I was working at a grocery store called Bowman's Market in Kaysville, Utah. And when COVID hit, I had nothing to do with my photography. Like, I couldn't take any photos or anything because of COVID. And so I decided to jump on the YouTube train. And I remember I was talking with an old coworker, and I said I was working on becoming a rising YouTuber. And I kid you not, this is exactly what she said. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Like half-heartedly. I was like, okay, thanks for. I thought in my mind, like, okay, thanks for the vote of confidence, because she genuinely believed that I wouldn't go very far. But now look where I'm at. I'm at almost 100. I'm at almost 130 subscribers. Yeah, I'm still growing, but it's also, when it comes down to it, it's not about how many subscribers as how many uploads you get. But really, when it comes down to it, like, why not give this a shot? You know?
And honestly, the thing that you're absolutely right about when it comes to that is, why not take it a shot? Like, even though yes, it's hard to be a YouTuber and it's hard to break through, at the same time, it's free.
You know, Branson Tannerites, he brought up a great thing. Like, I was watching one of his YouTube videos a few weeks ago, and he had his little sister and her boyfriend help him with a video. And they basically, the goal of the video was that they had to create a new TikTok account. They couldn't use any of their original names. So like, they had to do it all from scratch. And Branson said at the very end, if you're looking to start a YouTube channel, this is a great route to go. Like, where you first start out on TikTok, and then you move to YouTube, and you can bring. And so he brought up a really great thing when he said that, because there's a lot of people who, especially like these high schoolers, who think like, yeah, I want to be a YouTuber for my career.
But, I had a nephew say that.
Huh?
I had a nephew say that recently.
Yeah. And then when they come to find out, like, all that entails, you know, recording, uploading, editing, all this stuff, they don't realize, like, you know, I have a good friend that I think he's busy tonight. Otherwise, he probably would have come on. His name's Lalo, and you've probably seen him on some of my streams.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been on the platform since he was 11.
Yeah.
He's now 21, so he's been on there for 10 years. His first channel has over 400K subscribers.
Wow.
His second channel that he just started a few months ago, one video so far, because he's in the process of filming his second video, over 192 subscribers with one video, because he knows how to market his videos. He knows.
Yeah.
And you brought up a good point with Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast was once asked in an interview, what would happen like if you lost your channel? So like if you had to start all over, he's like, I know I could do it all over again. He's like, because I know how to market my videos. I know it works and what doesn't. And he's like, I need to get back up to where it needs to be.
I think one thing that always is a little bit defeating when it comes to starting off as a YouTuber or a podcaster, and this is something that I truly actually went through, and I don't mean to throw anybody that I know under the bus on this particular subject, but like you try really hard to do it, and you want to make it, and you want to do the whole thing, and you want to be the next Mr. Beast. And the thing that always kind of makes me really sad, but also something that I experience, is a lot of times it feels like that it just kind of feels like that a lot of times the people that you expect to support and watch your channel or listen to your podcast never do.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, actually, I even have a little bit something that, if you don't mind, that I would kind of like to bring up. I just said a little while ago, I said, I've been in a very contemplative mood. So here's a question. When you have friends who are trying to start a small business or create content or create music, whatever could it be that stops you from supporting your friends? Like, wouldn't you want them to succeed? Why would you feel like you'd want them to if you're not going to listen to anything? That's what I said. And I tagged in a couple of people that I have that are some pretty important, like, creators in a lot of senses. One of them, he makes comic books. One of them, she's an artist. She makes music. And she wrote something kind of interesting. I think this is actually kind of a bit of a truth as well. She says, the first rule of business is that I learned is your friends and your family will likely not be your support in the beginning or even in the middle of climbing your success ladder. You got to find those that are attracted to what you offer and ride with the wave of those fans. Then she goes on to say, it is what it is. Friends and family are likely not interested in the same type of music or art that you are creating, or they're naturally timid to put their efforts into going into something they aren't sure will have success. So you're likely going to get better support from people you meet along the way.
And that's so true. You know, you bring up a good point. Like, I've had a lot of people, like I've brought this up in the past. Like, I have another friend who's married, and his wife went on Facebook like 2 or 3 years ago and complained about how she has to go to a Monday through Friday 9-to-5 job for like $13 an hour. And then there's some kid who's like 10 years old that's making like $10K a month on for YouTube. And she's like complaining about it. I thought in my mind, like, the answer's right there. Start a freaking YouTube channel. Like, I mean, if you're that upset about it, like, there's only one way to prove this. And I have to put a preface on this. Do not start a YouTube channel for the money. Don't do it. Yep. Like, you will get burned out so fast. And start a YouTube
That's exactly why my other ones failed.
Yeah. And start a YouTube channel because you want to bring something to the table. You want to bring some knowledge or some things or some, like, even edutainment to the table. And there's so many people that they go about YouTube in the wrong ways. They go about it because they think, oh, well, I want to be, you know, a multimillionaire because I watched Mr. Beast, and if Mr. Beast can do it, then I can do it. And then, but the thing they don't realize is that Mr. Beast, like you said in the chat, 10 years is what it took for him to be success.
That the 10 years to become an overnight success, that's Jacksepticeye.
Well, but again, that basically is what Mr. Beast said as well. I watched the interview.
I haven't heard that yet.
He talked about, it was actually on the Joe Rogan podcast. He's sitting there talking about how he would go to class because, you know, he was part of the population of kids where their parents are like, you know, you go to school or you go move out on your own. Take your pick. And so he would go to he'd pull up into the parking lot of his college, and he just upload videos. And as his video started taking off, he started getting retention and getting the traction, the money. Like 3 or 4 months into it, and he started making like $10K a month. He went to his parents like, oh, by the way, I haven't really been going to class. I've been uploading YouTube videos, and like they were mad. They're like, oh, but by the way, I've been making $10K a month. Just a little heads up. And
everyone's always mad until they start making the money.
And so you bring up a good point, and that is that at first people aren't going to support you. Like you might have to do this solo. My mom thankfully has been a support to me. My brother Dan has been a support to me, and there have been others in my corner, like Aaron right here. He's been a major support to me, even texting me saying like, dude, where's the next video? Dude, where's the next video?
Yeah.
And
I know I'm going to get on here again after this chat too. I got something that I want to talk to you about.
Okay. I'm expecting.
Don't worry, it's not bad.
But it's just one of those things that like, why not give this a chance? Why not take the extra time to make those thumbnails? Why not try hard? I've given people some great resources on this live stream. Canva. If you want to even try Streamyard that we are using right now, in my bio and my link of this in the description of this video, you can get a free 14-day trial of Streamyard, and then afterwards you have to start paying for it. But then you can try Canva. You can try the Pro Edition, which is another affiliate of mine. And these are all resources that we as content creators use on a weekly, on a daily, on a monthly, and on a yearly basis to help us to improve. Yeah, it costs money. Is that money worth it in the long run? You better believe it.
Mm-hmm. I think if you don't mind me just kind of taking a step back to something that you said a little bit ago that really kind of stuck out to me.
Go ahead.
And that was when you're talking about when things go viral. I think no one ever expects to go viral. I don't think you should ever expect it to go viral. It's not fair to your own expectations. And the old adage of you got to spend money to make money is absolutely going to be true with YouTube. As much as you don't want to admit it, it's true. Whether you're paying for Canva, whether you're paying for whatever it is, you gotta spend money if you want to make it big.
Mm-hmm.
And and one thing that kind of also in tempering your expectations, one thing that I've personally gone through is that, and I'm not trying to brag about this, but like I had one video that kind of popped off, and now every single time I put out another video that doesn't do as good, I feel that disappointment creep in.
Yeah, I feel that too. Like whenever I do a video that just doesn't take off, I just get
Life of the dog.
It's kind of like, yeah, that one I was really hoping to take off, and then it just didn't. Like I was so blown away at that because like I how long I spent creating that video.
Years.
Me, I was disheartened when it didn't really take off. But then at the same time, like, I've had videos that were like months and months old who all of a sudden out of nowhere just took off. Like I had a video where I was talking about how to make a preset in the Lightroom, and all of a sudden out of nowhere it started taking off again. I was like, what the? And that's great. That's the beauty about YouTube. Even that first video I ever posted has like over 150 something views.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at your channel. You're sitting at 160, so that's actually pretty good.
So the moral of the story is this.
Sorry, I keep going off on tangents.
No, you're good. The moral of the story is this. You who are watching this either on the replay or on live, give this time. YouTube is a journey. Enjoy that journey. Don't expect to be an overnight sensation. And like I always say, I like what Sean Ken always says, punch fear in the face and hit record. You never know what can happen if you just do that.
Beautiful. And I'm just going to make a quick drop. Go click on all of Tony's affiliate links. Make sure you go and support this guy and sub and like this channel.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's a passion of mine. I've really grown to enjoy this, and I'm going to be recording pre-recorded tonight, and then I'm going to record 2 tomorrow. So
Good.
even though it's a Sabbath, it's not going to be a day of rest for me.
Nope.
All right, guys. Well, on behalf of everyone here, I want to give a huge shout out to Aaron for coming on. And Aaron, I started a new thing a few weeks ago, and that was that I let whoever is up on stage with me send us out and end the stream. So give us some words of wisdom or something that people can take away from this.
Ooh. Okay. With some parting wisdom, I think comes with something that's a little bit cliche, but I think it's true. You are never too old to chase your dreams, and you will fail. Failing causes growth, and you will always find pleasure when you're doing what your passion is. And so you should never give up, and you should never surrender. And I will always hope that you choose to land amongst the moon and land amongst the stars.
Mic drop right there. Thanks, guys, for joining in. We will be back next week with another creator hangout. And I want to give a big shout out to Nano, to Aaron, he's been in the chat, to so many others. Grow with Angie, that was here. We had Sharkfin here at one point. We had a lot of people that showed up. So thank you all for coming. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Check your local time zones to make sure you get the time zone correctly. And with that being said, thanks, you guys. We'll catch you next time.